It started as a quiet evening at home, the kind where you expect comfort and conversation, not confrontation. Emily was lounging on the couch, scrolling through her phone, a faint smile on her lips. I watched her from across the room, noticing the way she lingered over certain messages, laughing lightly, shaking her head in amusement. That's when my stomach sank. I leaned over and asked casually, "Who's got you laughing so much?" She glanced at me, smiled, and said, "Oh, just some friends from work. Don't worry about it." But her fingers lingered on her screen, and the corners of her mouth twitched in ways that betrayed her casual tone. Something was off, and I could feel the tension rising. Later, as I tried to bring it up again, she scoffed. "I'm not cutting off my ex just because you're insecure. He's just a friend," she laughed, tossing her hair back as if she were teasing me. The words hit like a cold slap. Not because of jealousy, but because of the sheer arrogance and dismissiveness in her tone. She had crossed a line she didn't even see. I didn't react immediately. I stayed calm, letting the words hang in the air. She expected anger, an argument, a dramatic outburst, something to feed her thrill of control. But I sat silently, letting her smugness swirl in the room. Her smile faltered slightly. She could feel that something was wrong, though she didn't yet understand the depth of it. She tried again, laughing nervously now. "Come on, don't be dramatic. We're fine. He's harmless." I looked her in the eyes, and the intensity of my gaze made her pause. For the first time that night, she saw the calm steel beneath my usual patience, the quiet that comes before a storm. "I'm fine," I said slowly. "But I think it's time you see the consequences of ignoring boundaries." Her confident smirk wavered as I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. I handed it to her, the screen showing a carefully documented history of interactions. Texts, social media likes, subtle flirtation she had left exposed, all neatly compiled. She scrolled, her eyes widening, her face paling. Every laugh, every lingering message, every shared secret was laid bare before her. She had assumed her little secret could stay hidden, that her ex's presence in our lives was harmless. But the proof now stared back at her, undeniable and crushing. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I simply let the evidence speak for itself, letting the room fill with the weight of truth. She sat in stunned silence, fumbling for words that didn't exist. The casual arrogance she had worn like armor dissolved instantly, replaced by the sharp sting of regret. "You've called me insecure," I said softly, my voice calm but firm. "But this isn't about insecurity. It's about respect. It's about boundaries. And you just ignored them. Tonight, you get to see the result." Her lips trembled. She had nothing to say. No excuses, no laughter, no deflection. I watched as the realization hit her fully. She had underestimated me, overestimated her own cleverness, and assumed that my silence meant weakness. She had misjudged the situation entirely. The woman who had laughed in my face, belittled my concerns, was now speechless and exposed. Hours later, she avoided my eyes, carrying the weight of her actions like a shadow she couldn't shake. The dynamic had shifted irrevocably. Her confidence, her playful defiance had been replaced by quiet, uncomfortable reflection. She knew she had misjudged the situation, misjudged me, and misjudged herself. I didn't need to make her suffer publicly. The lesson had been delivered quietly, efficiently, with truth as my weapon. The humiliation she felt wasn't from anger, yelling, or confrontation. It was from undeniable reality, from seeing her actions reflected back with clarity she could not ignore. That night, she understood something she hadn't before. Boundaries are not suggestions. Respect is not optional. And dismissing someone you claim to love as insecure can have consequences far more powerful than any argument or fight. I had shown her the truth calmly, deliberately, and without theatrics. She was left speechless, regretful, and painfully aware that her attempts to flaunt her freedom and independence had backfired spectacularly. She realized that some lessons cannot be forgotten. Some regrets are permanent, and some games can be lost in silence and observation rather than in anger. By the time she went to bed, the arrogance and smugness she had carried into our living room were gone. She knew she had miscalculated, underestimated my patience, and overestimated her cleverness. That night, I didn't just respond. I delivered a lesson she would remember for the rest of her life.